We've got a countdown. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Oh, I'm excited. Are you excited? Why am I excited? Let me think. Well, I'm planning my Christmas. My Christmas cake is getting its fifth feeding tomorrow. I'll maybe do it today. Why not? And so it's only got one more feeding before it's packed away wonderfully. I'm going to be making my marzipan. And yes, what else? Oh wait, first of all, shall we do this properly? Let's pretend that I'm a professional at this, shall we? So good morning, good morning. The first thing I'd very much like to do is to say good morning to Gregel, who is, as always, by my right side. And Cachorro is on the opposite sofa. He went for a haircut yesterday. He looks gorgeous. He looks nice and clean and beautiful. And of course, last but by no means least, Chris, say good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
So we have my lovely Chris, who's going to be fielding all of your questions and all of that stuff right now. So what was I saying? Oh yes, I've got some very exciting news. Not really, but it's exciting to me. Right, let me explain. In England, we have a biscuit. Americans would say a cookie, which is called a hobnob. Now, hobnobs are delicious, but I haven't thought of hobnobs in years until my friend Kay, one of her daughters, sent me a box of cookies, and in this box was a packet of hobnobs. And you can't buy hobnobs in America. They're just not available. Nobody's ever heard of them. You might say to yourself, now, what are hobnobs? Well, they have whole wheat flour and oats and syrup and stuff. And anyway, they are really delicious. And of course, you can get them plain or covered with chocolate. We know which my darling boy is going to have, don't we? Now, I know that many of you are checking in because you think I'm talking about spiritual things. And I promise we will get to that. But yesterday I was dancing around my kitchen. I was so excited because I've been trying to perfect the hobnob recipe and it just didn't work and it didn't work. And 5 times, and I've had to make batches of cookies and there's only me to eat them. And they just weren't quite right. No, too much oats, no, oats are too big, this and that. No, these are too chewy because hobnobs are nice. And on it goes. So I actually think that I might have loved in my younger days a job in one of those test kitchens, where you make things and mix things and test things out and create new recipes. I checked on recipes online. None of them worked to my satisfaction. So anyway, I've been experimenting. And yesterday, I finally created what I consider to be the perfect example of a hobnob, almost mirroring a bought hobnob, but actually better because you made them yourself and they are so delicious. And if anybody wants the recipe for my hobnobs, please, you can email me, rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com. I actually, for Christmas, I just might put 1 or 2 recipes, new recipes, on the website. What do you think to that, Chris? Is that a good idea?
I wish you'd held up a hobnob so we could see it. But yeah, that would be a great idea.
Well, I could scurry to the kitchen, but that means getting up and doing all that. But as soon as I bit into this, I was so excited because I'm thinking this looks just exactly how I want it to do. And then, of course, then there's the taste test. And then there's the taste test that has to come later once they've completely cooled down. So, and then there's the taste test, which thinks I'll just have another one of these before I go to bed with a glass of milk, preferably. And I'm getting fatter and fatter by the minute. Anyway, I finally, after trying for about 2 or 3 weeks on and off, on my 5th attempt and trying to figure things out, I finally discovered the little trick that the Hobnob Factory don't tell you anything about So you see, it's all about experimentation. Anyway, finally produced the perfect hobnobs. I know you're all fascinated by this, aren't you? Right now, I do know, and we shall announce this again later, but I'd like to start with a great announcement. In that, let me think. We did put a competition up on the website for all of you who were going to be sharing our webinar information, and lots of you signed up and signed in. It was very difficult to choose a winner, so we actually, for some unlikely reason, we actually chose 3 winners. So anyway, I'm going to try to remember them. Denise Creasy is one of our lovely winners. So she gets a free ticket to the webinar on Saturday. Michael T. Williams is the next winner. So I'm saying them in no particular order. And we have one final winner because I don't know, she just sounded so lovely. So we've had Jude, Chris, remind me?
Yes, Jude Rainbow Star.
Jude Rainbow Star. So there you are, Michael T. Williams, Denise Creasy, and Jude Rainbow Star are our 3 winners. And you need to get in touch with my office at rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com. And these tickets are for this coming Saturday at 10. The webinar starts at 10 a.m. So we're thrilled to be able to give you guys these tickets, and we hope you enjoy it. You have to come with lots of questions and so on and so forth, because we're going to have fun on this webinar, we hope. And you also, all of you get a chance to, anyone who joins the webinar actually gets a chance to speak to me one-on-one, right, Chris? I'll actually be able to hear your voice. Ooh. Chris, can you tell people how that works?
Sure. We're using the Zoom, I don't know if you call it an application. We're using Zoom, and those of us who are on Rosemary's team will be in the background fielding your questions in the chat room, and there will be a chance to type out questions, but there'll also be a chance here and there to actually talk with Rosemary those same questions. Either way, your questions go through. So we're happy to help in the background.
And I should be able to hear your voice as well as you being able to hear mine. And we had a fantastic experience in our last webinar with, can you remember her name?
Helen,
who asked a question, and the answer she received just set her to tears. If you want to listen to the clip of that webinar, and if you want to listen to Helen and I talking, you can actually go to my whatever that is. What is that?
your website.
My website. Thank you, Chris. All this technical stuff, it sort of goes around in my head. So you can actually go to my website, which is all one word, rosemary.altea.com. And you'll see lots of little videos and clips and things. You'll learn much more about the webinars. There are others coming. There's an angel one for Christmas. I'm hoping that we'll have conversations with angels. I can't promise that angels will appear, but I can tell you of my experiences, and I want you to tell me your experiences. And I'm going to be telling you all about the different types of angels that there are, that I have come across. And so, so it's going to be a learning experience. And then, oh gosh, and then in January, we've got so much planned. In January, I'm going to show you how to do the pendulum. I'm going to show you how to connect with your vibrational energy. We're going to be talking about ley lines and psychometry. And some of you are thinking, what is she talking about? Well, you have to join the webinar to find out, don't you? But anyway, all right. So congratulations, Michael T. Williams. Congratulations, Denise Creasy. And congratulations, Jude Rainbow Star. I think I got all that right, Chris?
You did.
And so we're also hopefully going to be having another competition in the new year. So I think we should have a competition about the kitchen and cooking. What do you think, Chris?
Oh boy. Let the battle begin, right? Did you want to mention your upcoming interviews?
Absolutely. Why don't you do that?
On December 9th, you've been invited by Lee Carroll and Monica Muriani onto their show, and the information has been sent out in your newsletter. It's on your website. And we sent out an email blast yesterday with the information. So if people have not signed up for your newsletter, now's the time to go on the website and click that contact button so we can get you on there.
Yeah, I mean, I promise you, we will not inundate you with stuff. You know how it drives me crazy. When you go on, you go into your emails, and the same things over again, because you get inundated with the same stuff all the time, every day. We will not do that. I promise you, will not do that to you. But we will send you information, maybe 3 or 4 times a month. You'll get information about what we're up to. And I'm really looking forward to the interview with Lee Carroll, because I think he's a very interesting, really interesting guy. And his cohort, should I call her? What do you think, Chris? Would you like being called a cohort?
They do so many things together, so I'm sure.
They do. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that, I do believe, what is it, 9th of December?
Yes.
And again, if you want to know more about it, or you want to know when is that interview going to be, then please go to my website, rosemaryaltea.com. You can find out all about it, and you can find out, I think, how to watch it too. I think there'll be a link on the website, won't there, Chris?
Yeah, I would definitely look for that link. I'm not sure if it's up on the website yet, but we will be posting it today on all of the social media.
Great. So, and then do we have, and then we also have another lovely interview with another lovely lady.
Marla?
Yep.
I don't have the date for that one handy, but I know it's December, within a couple of days of when you're with Lee.
Okay.
So watch for that information too.
Around December, and I will, all being well, I will be traveling with Chris and her husband. They're coming to Florida to. You're coming to take me away, aren't you, Chris? They're coming to take us away. Ha ha. Did you ever have that song in your country?
I
They're coming to
did.
take us away. Ha ha. Anyway, Chris and Mike are coming to take me away. Ha ha. And also Cachorro. And luckily, I've got someone who's going to be house sitting for me, so that's great. So the house will be taken care of. No more floods and things, I hope. Yeah, I think that's it for the announcements. Is it, Chris?
I think so.
And we shall mention it again. We will mention it again as we progress in the show. I do just want, though, in the pre thing that I do. It's like, I don't know where you'll find it. Well, you'll find it on Facebook and YouTube and all over the place. But I was trying to explain, and I'll explain again a little bit about what is the webinar about, because we have had lots of questions from people. What does that mean? The wall that we put up. And basically, we've all done it, haven't we? We all know that, as we grow up, as we grow older, as children, sometimes without meaning to, sometimes very inadvertently, but sometimes deliberately, people can be cruel to children. People can say things, and they can be mean, or they can say things that will either embarrass a child or make a child uncomfortable, or whatever it is going on. It happens with our parents, with our siblings, with our neighbors. It happens with our teachers, and all through our lives. And then as we get older, it can happen to us, in the workplace. The people say things, they say mean things, and I always think that we come to this earth, and our soul is beautiful and bright and clear and pure, an absolute beautiful thing. But as we grow up, as we get older, sometimes deliberately, but most often inadvertently, I think, people say things that make us either embarrassed, or they make us question ourselves, or they make us feel that we're not good enough, or we did something wrong, or that we should have to try to please. And it's like little tiny drops of poison being dropped into a glass of water. Just think, you've got a clear glass of water, and it's like someone keeps dropping little tiny drops of ink, black ink, in there, and eventually the water becomes unrecognizable because it's filled with this poison. And this is what happens to our soul. And as this happens to us, and it happens to the majority of us, I think, as it happens to us, so the wall starts to be built. The first brick is in place, the next brick is in place, and very often by the time we're adults, that wall is sort of, way above our heads and so thick that, so we put it up there. It's an emotional wall. We put it up there to protect ourselves, to try to sort of make sure that we're not being hurt. But unfortunately, what it does, it not only keeps people out, and not only keeps out the hurts, it keeps in our pain. It keeps us behind the wall, stops us from being able to communicate properly, stops us from feeling, stops us from being the person that we really want to be. So what can we do about the wall? What can we do about the poison? And that's what our webinar is about on Saturday. And I'm going to be really, basically, it's a whole session of healing the self, recognizing what is happening to us, and gently and carefully I shall try to lead you through getting over that, or being able to deal with it. We're so afraid so often of coming from behind the wall, and we're so afraid of being vulnerable, I think. But sometimes we have to become vulnerable in order to be the person we want to be. So if you have a spouse, for instance, who won't talk to you because his wall is so thick, what can you do about that? If you personally have trouble communicating, what can you do about that? So I'm going to be holding everybody's hand on Saturday morning, and I'm going to hold your hands and talk you through, hey, let's find out where that little tiny drop of poison first began. Let's look it in the eye and let's deal with it. And that's what we're going to be doing on Saturday. So it's a whole healing process, and we'll be there for 2 hours dealing with this. Do you have anything else to say about that, Chris?
No, I can't wait. I know I have personally used that exercise, and it's absolutely amazing how light you feel afterwards and how you view your life in such a different way. It's really a healing. It's great timing for this month, the whole theme about healing.
Yeah, well, I was talking earlier, it is Thanksgiving in America, and I mean, how many of you are dreading having to sit with family? The mother-in-law who talks too much, the brother who you've not spoken to in a while, the dynamics of family. I mean, I've been the first Thanksgiving I ever had in this country, I was fortunate enough to be with a family who, they all love each other, they get on with each other, they have fun with each other, and it was great. And for me, coming from a family where that doesn't happen at all, this was just a really, really wonderful experience for me. But there are so many families who do have issues, and so we're going to be addressing that sort of thing as well. Right, shall we go?
I think we should. Everybody's waiting.
Are you ready? Are we ready? All right.
Yeah. So the first comment, Rosemary, is from Starshine.
Hi, Starshine.
They say, I love your cooking tips and the names that you're calling them, like hobnobs.
Well,
you make me feel closer to my mom.
Oh, good. Well, hobnobs are not, that's not, these are Rosemary's hobnobs. But the hobnob is not mine. The hobnob, I think, was claimed by McVitie's. It's a good name, though, don't you think? Anyway, go on.
I love it. Adrian's asking, good morning, Rosemary.
Good morning.
You said during the past few videos that the next few months are going to be hard. Is there anything we need to prepare for? Is Christmas going to be the same? I'm just nervous.
Oh, darling, don't be nervous. Well, here's the thing. Let me just explain something to all of you yes, it is going to be tough. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. You've all heard me say that. But if you live in dread of what might be coming, you're missing the moment. You are allowing your fear to override the joy that you might have in every moment of every day. And it seems to me that when we're sort of, down on our luck, so to speak, or when we're down and in the dumps, and let's face it, we've all been down in the dumps the last few months for one reason or another. It seems to me that these are the times when you have to just reach inside of you and pull out that determination. If you allow the world to get to you, if you allow world issues to get to you, if you allow the world's problems to get to you, when you can do nothing about it, when you are helpless, then you take the joys away from you. You're not able to see as clearly what is under your nose. And if nothing else has taught us, the wars, we can talk about the wars, but they were years ago. But look at 9/11. It's only a blink away that 9/11 happened. If nothing else has taught us, the world teaches us on a daily basis, life is short. If you spend your life worrying, anxious, afraid, what can I do? How can I change things? We little human beings, we have no say. We have no control over the politicians. We have no control over those groups of people who are plotting and planning to create havoc and mayhem. We have no control over that. What we do have control of is we have control of our own thoughts. We have control over our own lives to a point. And we also have control over our attitude. And I think it's very, very important that we understand. Find the joy. Yes, you can be afraid, but years and years ago, I can remember a very good friend of mine. He and his wife, they had in their kitchen, they had this enormous wall calendar. And I'm sort of looking at it one day. I went in there and I'm sort of just idly looking at it, and I come to September and it says World War III. And I looked, I said, no. I looked again, and this friend of mine, John, said to me, oh yeah, well, the Russians and the rockets and the this and that, and it's predicted World War III. And I lived nervously. I lived in fear. I lived anxiously, worrying, what am I going to do with Samantha? How can I protect my daughter? What am I supposed to do here about this? And September came and went, and October came and went, and on and on. And of course, World War III did not happen, as we know. And I had been so anxious that I had missed the joys of those last 3 months. I completely being so worried and so anxious and trying to figure out how to deal with things. And I realized what a great lesson it was for me. I realized, okay, I'm done. I will never read another newspaper, and I will never, ever watch the news. And since that time, and Samantha was a little girl and she's now 50. Since that time, I've never read a newspaper and I've never watched the news. It's amazing how much I do know about what's going on in the world, though. Somehow or another, these things filter through. But I absolutely refuse to buy into any fear that anybody else wants to put out there. When I'm saying this to you, it will get worse before it gets better. I'm giving you a little heads up, but I'm certainly not trying to put fear into you, because I don't believe that we should be afraid. I think we are, all of us, strong enough, and we will survive it. And we may not like it very much, but remember also, don't just focus on me saying, it will get worse before it gets better. Hold on a minute. There are two things there I've said. Yes, it will get worse. Oh, and it will get better. Can we focus on, yes, it will get worse, but then it's going to get better. So focus on what you can do in your own life to make things better. And I advise anybody out there, forget the newspapers because they all are exaggerating. The newscasters are all, except Fox News, we know, leaning towards the Democrats. Can't believe they're politicians. Who believes a word that politicians say? And newscasters, I don't care how impartial they are, newscasters are so often so not partial and twist the news to their own beliefs. So I'm done with all of that. I'm not buying into it. I'm buying into my own heart, into my common sense, and I'm buying into what I can do to make my life better. Any comments, Chris?
Well, it reminds me of a person going in for some type of surgery, right? They're in pain, they're anxious, whatever. They go in and they have the surgery. There's a small amount of recuperation, and then suddenly life is great again.
Yeah.
I mean, so we have plenty of examples of how we've weathered through things and come out the other side much better.
And the truth of the matter is, if we die under the knife, so we do. What can we do about it? It's our time to go. So maybe I've just got a very fatalistic point of view. All right, let's keep going with the comments and questions.
Sure. Asma has a question. Good morning, blessings and love to you. I need your guidance. When do you see me getting any breakthrough in my coaching and hypnosis business? It's been long. I am working online to establish myself, even though I get good response from people, but haven't signed any clients as yet. For the time being, should I take some full-time job to get financially stable and do coaching by the side, or should I focus on my online work only? Thank you.
Well, I'm looking to Grey Eagle for the answer to this question, and I would like it to be a straightforward and simple answer. Yes, go get a job, or don't worry about a job. You know, it would be either or. But Grey Eagle is, as usual, looking at the much bigger picture. Rather than getting a full-time job, why don't you consider getting a job so you've got some money coming in, but not taking up your entire life and having no time for your business? Because I do believe that your business will eventually get off the ground if you persevere. But the problem with getting a full-time job is that you're not going to have the time or the energy to fully persevere. So it's, you know, find that way of compromising, so that you can do both things. You can in fact get money in and help to pay the bills, but you can also have enough time to focus on what you need to focus on. It's just unfortunately the wrong time at the moment, isn't it, for anybody to sort of think about going into a new business, because so many people are not really focusing. So many people don't have money. This is why we wanted to give some tickets away for our webinar. There are so many people who are worried that they're not going to get a job. People are in flux right now, but trust in your own self and trust that you can do it. But in the meantime, make some sort of a compromise, my love. Yes, Chris.
Okay, Mark is on.
Good morning.
Love to all of you from Tulsa. I have a duo question regarding Gray Eagle, and it's about our beloved pets. Did
Okay.
Gray Eagle, while living on this earth plane, have a pet? And since I've had my little fur son, Gage, this boy not only stares at me constantly, but it's more than just staring at me. He looks deeply at me. It's more than just staring. My gut instincts are telling me it's much, much more, but I don't know what Gage is truly looking at. Can you give me an insight to both
Gosh,
Gray Eagle, and does he know what Gage looks at?
Gosh, I'll have a go. Well, actually, I'm asking Greg Eagle. Greg Eagle can have a go. Let me see here. The first answer, did he have a pet? You know, you're talking about a whole different culture, so I'm not even sure from what Greg Eagle is telling me, the word pet was just not a word. Did we have animals? Did we take care of our animals? Did we have affection for animals? Absolutely, yes. As far as your puppy is concerned, it reminds me because just this morning, and Kachoro has done this since I've had him, suddenly you'll find him sort of staring at what you might perceive is nothing, but he's staring intently, and animals do have this incredible sense. I think your puppy is recognizing your soul, is probably looking at your aura and can tell when you're upset or can tell when you're happy. We will be in the future having a webinar on auras and energies and energy fields, and then you'll see perhaps more clearly, Mark, how much animals can see. But I think that it's all about vibration, the vibrational levels, and our animals can just literally do this, whereas we have to, we sort of miss all the time. It's like getting a bad telephone connection. Human beings, we're so busy with everything else, we're so busy sort of not paying attention that we forget that all we have to do is sit quietly and we can do this. This is what your little puppy is doing for you. Is doing this and just looking at your aura, just looking at your soul, and just knows exactly who you are. So so he's tuning in with you. Are you tuning in with him? Maybe that's a good webinar. Maybe that might make a really good webinar, Chris. What do you think? How we tune in with our animals?
Oh, I think a lot of people could benefit from that.
Let's put it on the back burner there. We'll think about it for the future, all right?
Sounds good.
Can you make a note?
I'm doing that now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
All right, so Steve is on.
Hi, Steve.
Good morning. I've recently been introduced to the spirit world by the love of my life. While we've discussed in the past, I've only recently become open-minded enough to accept the reality. Now I'm hungry to learn and have noticed an increased alertness and sensitivity to some of the signs around me. Things like the smell of cigarette smoke, certain numbers repeating, and a feeling I'm being guided. Do you have advice on how I can best identify my guide and my angels and work with them as you work with Gray Eagle?
Well, first of all, this topic of guides, it doesn't matter how many times I say this, we still come back to it. People still want to know, who is my guide? A guide, in the terms of Grey Eagle, a spirit guide, is a highly evolved spiritual entity. So not likely to work with anyone who does not work full-time in this area. In fact, will not work with anyone who does not work in full-time in this area. It's a little bit like asking the surgeon at the head of New York Hospital to work with the first-year nurse and teacher and guider and so on. It's not going to happen at all. Spirit guides, as in when we reference a spirit guide as in Grey Eagle, spirit guides are highly evolved entities and will only be with those on a full, literally 24/7 throughout, working with them 24/7, which I don't think is you. However, you do have family who are, family in the spirit world. It may be somebody that you never even knew or you never knew about quite. But there'll be someone in your family, or maybe it's a good friend who you lost, who is there with you, helping and guiding and steering you in your life. So how do you find out more about that? Well, listening is always good. So find 10 minutes in every day to just sit quietly in a chair. No questions, no are you there, nothing like that. This is my time for you, and sit quietly and just let it flow. Just let the energy flow. Stop trying too hard. Stop trying to push the river, the wrong way. You have to let things flow and let things flow around you. As for your angels, you might find our December webinar interesting, because we are going to be talking about angels. We're going to be talking about the role of angels. We're going to be talking about how angels, do they come into our lives, and how do we ask them to come into our lives, and how would we recognize an angel anyway? Because some angels are, like my beloved Tomas, earth angels. And while I think about that, if Claudia, if you're listening, we are trying to get together with you. Our beloved Tomas passed a few days ago, and so I'm going to be talking to his family a little bit. But Tomas was here on this earth for a long time, quite, into his teens and maybe early 20s. I'm not sure how old he was when he passed, but certainly, a young man. And I'm really looking forward to talking to him. So there are lots of different types of angels. There are those angels who are our guardians. There are those angels who come to us if we need something. Anyway, that's for our angel seminar, which is in December, because it's Christmas, isn't it? So we have to talk about angels at Christmas time. Well, I do anyway. So if you want to know more about our webinars, if you want to know more about what's going on, please go to my website, which is all one word, rosemaryaltea.com, ROSEMARYALTEA.com, and go in there and you can click. You'll see all sorts of little videos. And if you want to know more about the spirit world and how it works, I'm going to advise you to do just that. Go to the website and check me out. All right. And I should be interested to know about your progress. So please, just keep connecting with us. Yes, Chris.
Suzanne is on.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hi. Last time your advice for me was to read the part Martha in your book, The Eagle and the Rose. Well, I went and bought your book, and I love that part about Martha.
Yes.
P.S. My grandmother, whom I've never met, is named Martha.
Oh.
I love to read your book out.
No coincidences, right?
I love to read your book out loud to myself because I remember your other advice was to speak out loud to the spirit world to make contact.
Yeah.
So thank you, Rosemary, for making the spirit world a part of mine.
Wow. Well, I don't think I knew your grandmother's name was Martha. So, and I don't believe in coincidences. So obviously someone in the spirit world thought it would be neat for you to read the chapter on Martha, and you could probably relate much better to that. I love that chapter too. I really love that chapter. And I really loved the young man who came back and told me the entire story about how his mother showed him the photograph of Martha, who he'd never heard. And I think the last question we dealt with, actually, when I was answering it, it's so funny that you should do that. No coincidences, right, Chris? But as I was answering the last question, I wanted to say, there's a story in The Eagle and the Rose about a lovely, lovely grandmother. Her grandson didn't even know she existed. Actually, it was his great grandmother, didn't even know of her existence. It was his mother's grandmother, and he'd never heard of her until he came to see me. And boy, he got sick of hearing her name, I can tell you. And he was so disgusted when he left my house. And he'd actually taped the conversation, so he took it home to his parents. And read the rest of the story in The Eagle and the Rose. It's a fantastic and an amazing and a wonderful story for any of you out there who are maybe doubting a little bit. Is this real? Could it be possible that we can talk to people in the spirit world? And yeah, of course it is. But read The Eagle and the Rose, because that will give you a lot of insight. All right, Chris.
Shashi is on.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning, Rosemary from India. I always feel delighted to see you. Thanks to you and Grey Eagle for all the help and support you exhibit. So intense gratitude from my end to both of you.
Wow.
My question is, I am thinking of learning a spiritual modality, Feng Shui.
Oh.
Does Grey Eagle feel I should pursue this modality, learn it, and build my career using it? Would love to hear your views on that. Thank you once again.
Let me ask Grey Eagle, but this is something that's very close to me because it's all about vibrational energy, and it's actually sort of, it's more a mathematical They use mathematical equations rather than spiritual. I was very privileged when I was in China to meet one of the foremost feng shui teachers, and he was a fairly elderly gentleman. We went out and had dinner together. He was fascinating. This guy was so fascinating, and we sat for hours over this dinner, and he was explaining to me the mathematics of feng shui. So now, here's the deal. I think, and this man actually agreed with me. I think that if you have a particular sensitivity, or if you have a little bit of psychic ability and connect that together with feng shui, then wow, you've got this unbelievable and powerful insight into vibrational levels and so on and so forth. And it reminds me again of our webinar that we're going to be doing on in January, when we're going to be talking about ley lines, and you'd be interested in this, ley lines and psychometry, and using the pendulum and literally tapping into the vibrational energy of the universe. And I'm actually going to be giving people sort of little tools that they can use even when they're not on the webinar anymore. Show them how to use the pendulum correctly, show them how to use psychometry correctly, because so many people use these things but don't know how to. So my suggestion to you would be find a good teacher. But when you're talking about feng shui, you're talking about energy levels. And as Grey Eagle would always tell us, the universe is like holes in a cheese, passageways crisscrossing, going one way, going another way. And when you're looking at feng shui, you're literally dealing with the mathematical equations of earth, wind, and all of the fabulous elements of this earth. And it makes perfect sense. You should really do this. If you get the opportunity, please find a good teacher. Make sure that you find someone who knows what they're doing and then knows what they're talking about, and find a master if you can. And yes, I think Grey Eagle seems to think it's a great idea. So do I. Oh, can you let me know how you do? I'd love to know how you do. Right. Right, Chris. See how excited I am about all of this stuff?
Oh, I feel the same way just listening to you.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. We have a Immerse on.
Okay. Good morning.
Hello, Helen. Oh, sorry. This is Helen from Surrey.
Oh,
I've
is
just
that
made myself
Surrey?
a.
Hold on, Chris. Is that Surrey, England? Do we know, or maybe we don't? But
I think this sentence will tell you.
okay.
I've just made myself a cup of tea and
Ah,
having it with a wee pastry.
sounds Scottish to me. Why did she say she's from Surrey with a wee pastry? I
Yeah.
love that. Yes. Well,
It
welcome anybody who from Surrey. You want my
and
hobnob recipe?
so she said it's afternoon here. I got my ticket for Saturday. Yay.
Oh,
So
good.
looking forward to it. It's my first one.
Oh, great, great. Well, come ready with a pen and a pad and make some notes, and get ready for me to give you all of those little tips and little ideas that you can, use to make your life richer and better. And hey, have some hobnobs ready. I might have mine ready because I've got a whole pack of hobnobs now because I made a batch yesterday. I'm going to save them for Saturday so we can have a cup of tea and a hobnob together. Oh, wait, I'm not allowed tea, but hey, something. Have a glass of water or something. All right, let's go. Chris.
That reminds me, Rosemary, a couple of shows ago, there was a young man who asked you about healing in his family, and he had two sisters who were quarreling.
Yes.
Um, I should let you know that all three of them will be on your show Saturday. They accepted your invitation.
Oh,
So
we're just giving tickets away right, left, and centre here. We shall be definitely giving at least a couple of tickets away to the Angel seminar as webinar as well, but don't wait for that, because if you are one of the winners, we can always put it towards another seminar, a future seminar. So well, Chris, make sure you introduce them to me, and let's keep our fingers crossed we can sort out this family issue, shall we?
Well, it's just exciting to think that when people do the exercises that you will give them on Saturday, so much healing can take place. That's very exciting to think about.
You wait a minute. You're saying I've got to give people exercises? Oh, just kidding. Go for it. Keep going, Chris.
All right, Jillian's got a question.
Good morning, Jillian.
When you meditate, do you need to, let me see if I can say this again. Do you need to, or your hands palms up with thumb and forefinger touching? If so, why? So I think she's basically saying in meditation, our hands palm side up or putting the thumb and forefinger together.
Well, I do teach my students, and we'll be definitely doing a little bit of this hopefully on Saturday. And if I forget, anybody who's coming, remind me, please. So what am I saying here? When I give healing, or I'm looking to the spirit world, I always put my hands in a receiving position, and this is what I teach my grandson, who, by the way, is only 7 years old, but he knows exactly what to do here. The thumb and forefinger thing, as I think, is a sort of a Buddhist way, or an Eastern way of meditation. I don't do that. I don't feel there's any need to do it. But however you feel, whatever you feel brings you closest to that vibrational connection that we're trying to get here, is great. I personally, I got to be honest. I suppose I have to be honest. I actually personally don't meditate, because every time I sit down, aside from giving healing, which is a whole different thing, and I don't meditate when I give healing, I just sit quietly in a receiving position, and I try to connect with those in the spirit world, and I try to connect with that universal God force, which is different than meditation. I do teach meditation, but when I sit down and try to meditate, it's like, if the door's open, everybody comes in, and so everybody comes in. So but I do teach it, and I do require of my students that they learn to meditate, even if they're not too successful at it. But I do have to say that meditation is hugely different than contemplation, and most people, when they meditate, are actually contemplating. There's a massive difference. Meditation means requiring you to clear your mind. Contemplation is you sit there quietly, and all of a sudden these little thoughts creep in. What shall I have for dinner? Or I wonder what the neighbor's doing, or little thoughts keep creeping in. And so so there's a massive difference. So if you want to know more about meditation, just make sure you've got someone who can teach you the difference between meditation and contemplation. Yes, Chris.
All right, Ravi is on.
Hi, Robbie.
Good morning, Rosemary. Good morning. Lovely to see you back again. Do you have any message from my family, and especially my mother, from my maternal grandparents? Their name was Tilak and Saraswati. Have they both reached heaven, and are they safe over there?
Well, I was actually going to, my thought was that I was going to say, unfortunately, we don't have time for this, but if you're willing for me to give you this very quick message, because Gregor is telling me, yes, we can do this for you, but unfortunately not in depth. And I hate doing this in one way because it makes me sound so glib, but Gregor again is pressing me, so I have to do this for you. So I'm to tell you they are safe and well, watching over you. There's a message for your mother about a doctor. Not sure what the message is. That's the only problem with doing this when you don't have much time, because I do like to give it more time. But connecting with a doctor for whatever reason, and that could be somebody in the family's a doctor, it could be that your mother's a doctor, I don't know, or it could be that she needs to see the doctor. Unfortunately, right, so very briefly, then I do feel that your mother is having some minor health issues. Apparently she can be quite stubborn and pretends that nothing's going on, when I do feel that she might need, it's not anything serious, please don't think I'm giving you any horrible information here, but I do feel that she could sleep better if she would just get a little bit of help. I don't know if that message confuses you or not. You might want to let me know whether it does or whether it doesn't. Okay, Chris, moving on.
All right. Betta is on. Dear Rosemary, 4 days ago, a friend of my son killed himself from depression. Samuel was only 21. His parents are devastated by grief. Where is he now? How is he? He explained the reason for this in a note.
What a shame this is. What a shame, what a shame. This happens so far too often. I'm asking Gregel if I can give a little bit of information. This is very difficult because this is very personal to his parents. So I'm not to interfere with that. You know, the reason why we say I give private consultations, I will never divulge what I say to somebody else. But I'm told to tell you, if you could let his parents know he is safe. Yeah, he is safe. There's more here, but he's, I think, yeah. So Gregel is saying to just say that he is safe, and that for them to try not to worry too much. I do believe, from what I'm being told, he is getting help. Okay, Chris, moving on. I'm so sorry for your loss, Betta, by the way. Yeah, Chris.
Lindsay's saying, you gave me a reading long time ago, and it really helped me with my grieving process.
Who is this?
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Well, Lindsay, maybe you could write to us and tell us more about that. You know, we love to have testimonials from people. I love to be reminded of the people that I've seen. I'm very, very pleased that you shared that with us. I'd love to know more, and to be reminded, who are you? And maybe even, you know, why did you come here? I think people are always interested to hear from people who have been to see me for a consultation. And I think, you know, when you recount, or when people recount their experiences, I think that is very, very helpful to other people too, because it gives them confidence that they know they're on the right track, and that there really is something there. So thank you for sharing that with us. We'd like you to share a bit more. Okay, Chris.
Immerse is giving some advice. She's saying that when she received the e-newsletter that we recently sent out about your webinar coming up on Saturday, it went into her junk folder. So she's suggesting to people, look in your junk folder and change it to "this is not junk," so that you do not miss out on any other newsletters, etc., coming to you.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for telling us that. We're not, once we send it out, I don't think we're in control of what happens to it, are we, Chris?
No.
So
And
check your junk. I never check my junk mail. Do you know that? I never
really?
think about it. I know you do. I know you do. You're so organized, Chris. You're just so organized.
No, I just think if somebody says, "Oh, I sent it," that's just the first place I go, is to the junk folder to go,
Really?
did I somehow miss it? Yeah.
You know what happens when somebody says to me, I sent it? You know what happens? What I
You say, "Send it again."
do. Yeah, well, I never got it. You know, I never think to look in the junk mail. Thank you for that wonderful advice, my darling. Yes, keep going, Chris.
And Starshine's asking, are there still seats available, and how can I get in? So I would say, yes, we can get you in. Just go to either Eventbrite and put in a find for Rosemary Altea, or go to our website, and there's a link at rosemaryaltea.com. And I would also suggest for all of you who believe in Rosemary or know somebody that might benefit from this class, share this video and tell them about it.
Yeah, we do ask for you to share for us, because that would be lovely. Then the word goes out more, doesn't it? But I would suggest, go to the website, rosemaryaltea.com. It's very simple, and there's a subscribe button. Click on that, and that will get you onto our mailing list. And we send out a newsletter once a month, giving details, but you can always just keep popping into the website and see what we're up to as well. And if you go into the website, it will give you all the different webinars that we're doing. There'll be little videos in there, some fun little videos there. There's a little video from the last webinar that we did, and so that there's lots of information there as well. And there is a link to click straight to Eventbrite, which will take you right to where you need to be to get a ticket. So get on with it. It's on Saturday. There's only a couple more days to go now. So, and it will tell you all about what you have to do.
All right, we have 5 minutes left. Cheryl's asking, why are there so many shootings and things going on? How can people think they can take another's life?
That's a great question. It requires either a very long answer, which we don't have time for, or a very short answer, which is, you can't get into somebody else's head. You can't persuade people who refuse to be persuaded that, to be kind, to find peace. These people who are aggressive are just angry people. And they take their anger out on others. And very often it doesn't even have to do with a cause. It doesn't have to do with a particular grievance even. It just is that somebody's angry and they're trying to lash out at somebody else. And unfortunately, the world is full of people like that. But hey, I'm looking on the positive. I'm not like that. You all are not like that. So let's, be kind, be gentle, be loving to each other. That's what, and I'm going to have a hobnob in a minute as well. All right, I've got to stop eating the things now. I've figured out how to really get them right. Oh boy, keep going, Chris.
Twiggy Leaf is saying, Rosemary, what happens to bugs when they die? Does the energy go back to God, or are there bugs in heaven?
I'm going to tell you a very, very brief, very quick story. I was in Orlando years and years ago with a friend of mine, and we were just walking through the streets. She lives in Orlando, and at that time I was not living in Florida. And she asked me, Twiggy Leaf, the exact same question: what happens to bugs? And then, as I'm telling her they go back to the light, she suddenly looked down and realized we're walking through a whole little colony of ants. We'd probably trodden on dozens of them inadvertently. And she looked at me with absolute horror on her face. And she said, oh no. I said, don't worry. They just go back to the light. And anyway, good question. I hope you like the answer. Keep going, Chris.
Maria from Italy's on.
Hi, Maria.
Hello, I really like your books. I don't understand English, but I'm watching some lives and can keep up with a translator. Can we make questions?
Yes, if you use Google Translate, we do get so many questions in foreign languages. I had an Instagram message. It looked like it was in Arabic. I had no idea what it really was, and unfortunately, we can do nothing about it. If I took the time, or if Chris took the time to translate every time we had someone in a foreign language, we would have time for nothing else. So if you would like to go to Google Translate, put in your question to Google Translate and send it to us, we can get the gist, and we would love to answer your questions. So please, everybody out there, tell everybody Google Translate. Okay, Chris.
Gail is on. Hi, Rosemary, sending you love and appreciation. I love trying new recipes. I Googled hobnobs. Thanks for sharing. I believe I will be moving within the next year. I really thought I had found the perfect house for me, but a contract is pending from someone else. I keep watching to see if the contract does not pass. If so, should I try again? I could be happy with either building or purchasing. Which should I focus on?
Well, I always believe that if the house has got your name on it, and I do believe that houses have names on them, if a house has your name on it, no matter what, you'll get it. If you can remind me, Chris, we don't have time for that story now, but it is a story for perhaps for a story time of how someone came, Greg, or told me the name of the person who would buy it, and the person who bought it, it was not that name. And I'm thinking, how could I have listened? How could I have got it so wrong? And I'll tell you the rest of the story another time. But if the house has your name on it, it will be yours. And if it doesn't, it's not meant to be. So this is one of those times when, let go and let God. Not very helpful of me, but let go and let God, and it will all work out as it actually should.
All right. Probably the last question. Sarah Porn from Thailand is on.
Hi.
I wanted to drop by and say thank you for your message a few months ago as I finally got a job. And I wanted to ask if it will be a good job for me.
I don't know. I can tell you certain things, but the outcome depends. Let me ask you, will you have a good attitude? Will you appreciate the job? Will you find joy in it? Or will you be moaning and grumbling because there's somebody in the workplace you don't like, maybe, or makes it difficult for you? This is where our soul science webinar will absolutely come in for you, because boy, it's all about attitude, and it's about dealing with people and other people, and whether you will be able to deal with those other people. So really, it's down to you. Will it be a good job or won't it? Your choice. Let's just have one more question, Chris, shall we? Or what? Or how about a comment?
Okay. Let me go back. I was scrolling. You caught me right in the middle of scrolling.
Sorry.
Let's see. Cheryl's saying, what kind of souls are animals? They certainly are different personalities.
Actually, well, that's another one for soul science. So if you're interested in animals, yeah. Cachorro is definitely an earth sign. Let me see. Anyway, that's all we can say about that. But yes, you'd be interested in souls of puppies. Are very, very interesting. Yeah, keep going.
So the comments, Mark was answering from your earlier message. Yes, I am constantly in tune with my little boy, Gage. Thank you for answering with great joy. We are much alike. My Thanksgiving will be me and my fur son, Gage. We will watch the parade, listen to music, air fry a delicious seasoned chicken, some
Ooh.
wine and side dishes. I will always bring joy and peace through this coming holiday season. Remember, everyone, when you feel inner peace and joy and love from within, you all will be well. Have courage and be kind, and all will be well.
Thank you. Well, I was actually going to make duck à l'orange for my Thanksgiving, but then Chris told me she doesn't like it. So that's that. Do you like lamb, Chris? Can I make you a rack of lamb? What can I make for you, my dear? It's like,
I'm sure we'll figure it out.
maybe just some pasta. How about that? Some nice shrimp and pasta or something. All right, everybody. That's it for the end of this show. So if you want to know more about what I'm up to, more about what I'm doing, more about the webinars, please go to my website, rosemaryaltea.com, all one word, rosemaryaltea.com. If you want to know more about a consultation or about my books, or just if you want to connect with us in some way, or you have a question for us, please email me, rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com. If you have already emailed me in the past but have not received an answer from me, please try again. Sometimes perhaps they go into the spam folder. I don't know, Chris. But don't give up. If we haven't connected back with you, it's our oversight, but we do reply. I'd like you to know we do reply to every email as much as we possibly can. Sometimes it takes us a little while to do it, so please don't give up on us. All right, so that's it for today. No story time on Saturday because we're doing our webinar. I'm really looking forward to the webinar. I'm really getting very excited about this subject, because it's a subject that can really, if you listen carefully and you do some of the exercises, it can really change your life and make your life, it can enhance your life tenfold, I think, and put things into perspective for you. Get rid of all of that poisonous stuff that's sort of you holding on to and clinging on to. So we're looking forward to that. We should be back with everybody when? Next Thursday. Oh, we are doing, if Chris is awake, that is, we are going to be doing a Thanksgiving. Yes, so if you want to tune in at 11 a.m., the same time, same place, we are going to be doing a little bit of Thanksgiving. We're going to be talking about Thanksgiving. So we will be back here next Thursday, and then the following Saturday, absolutely, we'll be doing back to our story time again. We will be on the road for some of that. I'm excited. My grandson is so excited because Santa's coming. I'm so excited. All right. And so until I see you all again, if anybody wants the hobnob recipe, don't do all that Google stuff. I don't know who it was who said, don't do it. Just email me. I'll let you have the recipe because I perfected it. So, none of those recipes I tried were any good for me. It's up to you. Anyway, all right. So thank you, Chris. Thank you to Grey Eagle. Thank you, all of you who've been listening. Thank you for your support. We love having you. We really do love having you. So thank you very much for your support, for your kindness. Don't forget, those of you, Michael T. Williams, Denise Creasy, and Jude
Rainbow Star. Yep.
Rainbow Star. You have a free ticket to our webinar. Email Chris. She will tell you exactly what to do. Email, where they email the office, right, Chris? Rosemary
Chris at rosemaryaltea.com.
Chris at rosemaryaltea.com. You might want to put in the subject line winner, and Chris will explain to you how you get the link and what you have to do next. And we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the show today, and we shall see you, if not before, we shall see you next Thursday. Bye-bye, everybody.